So we have this last week and this week we have Parshas Shmois and Parshas Ve'era. The beginning of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu is told by the Ribbono Shel Olam, go to Paro, tell him the famous line, "Let my people go." So he goes on his mission, he goes to Klal Yisrael, and they all believed him. Then he goes to Paro, and he says, "I've been sent on a mission from Hashem. Let my people go." And Paro became very recalcitrant. Not only did he refuse to let the Jews leave, he increased their workload. They're lazy. Therefore they cry out. They're saying, "Let us go, give offerings to our God."
They don't want to work.
They don't want to work. Let the work be heavier upon the men. They shouldn't have any time to think. Let them be occupied in it. Let them not mouth false words. And the work became unbearable. They took away the raw materials. They wouldn't give them straw. And they had to produce the same amount of bricks, the same quota as before. A delegation of Jewish foremen went to Paro and they begged that he should rescind the edict, and he refused. And as they're leaving the palace, they encountered Moshe and Aaron, and they complained, "Your interference has only made it worse. It was a bad situation, now you made a bad situation worse. Why are you interfering?" Moshe was at a loss. And he was in anguish. He was the one, it seemed, that had caused Klal Yisrael to be even in bigger torment. They were suffering even more because of him. He went back to the Ribbono Shel Olam and he says, "Hashem, my God, why have you dealt with this people bad? Why have you dealt with this people bad? But you're why have you done bad to these people? Why did you send me? From the time I went to Paro to speak in your name, it became worse for this people, and you did not save them." Moshe Rabbeinu was severely tormented that Hashem had told him to redeem the people, and it wasn't the time yet. He had thought, Hashem said it's time to get them out. He had thought it was time to get out. The Gula is coming. Everybody got excited. The Gula is coming. And it wasn't time yet. Now, if it wasn't time for the Gula, why'd you send me early? He had a complaint against the Ribbono Shel Olam. Why'd you send me early?
Was that a lack of bitachon?
So the reply from the Ribbono Shel Olam was forthcoming.
By this name, Hashem didn't tell Moshe that it was going to
It'd get worse.
He didn't say it was going to get worse. He said Paro won't listen.
Oh, okay.
But he thought it would be a talich, a procedure, it would just slowly maybe get to the, to the Yetzias Mitzrayim. But it should got so totally worse. They had a quota of bricks. The Medrash brings down they had 600. Every person had to make 600 bricks a day. It's mind-boggling the amount of bricks each one person had to make. And if they didn't make the bricks, they threw the babies into the wall. And now they took away the straw. So not only did they have to make the bricks, they also had to find the raw materials. They had to go around, split up the work crew. Some people had to go looking for straw, and other people had to be making the bricks, and they still had to have the same quota. It was an impossible situation. Hashem said to Moshe, now you will see what I will do to Paro. With a mighty hand, Biyad Chazaka, I'll send them out. Biyad Chazaka, Yagar Shem, they're going to throw you out. Yagar Shem, they're going to throw you out. Now you're going to see. Chazal tell us that there's another message that Hashem had for Moshe Rabbeinu. Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Chaval al di'avdin, Oi, what we used to have and we don't have anymore, those who are gone and no longer are found. How many times I revealed myself to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov as Kel Shakai, the God Almighty, and they did not question my attributes. They didn't have any questions. They didn't say, what's your name? They didn't ask me any questions. I said to Abraham, go to Eretz Yisrael, to Eretz Canaan, walk through Eretz Canaan, and the whole of it, because I'm going to give it to you. And then when he had to find a burial plot for Sarah, he had to pay 400 silver shekels, which was worth like $1 million for a little cave. It was an exorbitant amount that Avram had to pay, even though Hashem had promised the whole land is his, but he had to pay for the... And he did not question my attributes. He did not protest that I'd failed to fulfill my promise. And you, Moshe, you asked me, what's my name? And you saw my greatness is more than they ever did, because I revealed to you the secrets of my name. Ekia Asher Ekia. I revealed to you the secret name that I have. And now you say to me, you haven't delivered the goods. You haven't delivered the people.
Who asked this question?
Moshe, the Kadosh Baruch had a taina. It's a medrash. Rashi brings this down. This is in Rashi. It's a Tanchuma. Rashi got it from the Tanchuma. Kadosh Baruch Hu had a complaint against Moshe Rabbeinu. You're not like Avram. I thought you were like Avram. You're going to be greater than Avram. This is another question. We know that Moshe Rabbeinu was greater than Avraham. But it's not for us right now. There's a lot of questions I'm going to leave unanswered. It's not for us right now.
What did it mean when it said that first of all, it was a different name?
Because it was a deeper name, right?
Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov was
Kel Shakai. Even though they didn't know exactly who I was, they didn't.
They can't be expected to ask the same question.
No, they didn't understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them things, and now there were contradictions. He told them that I'm going to give you the land. They knew that he was Kel Shakai, but
based on the fact of the name that HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Good, but it was a
what was given to Moshe Rabbeinu.
And Moshe Rabbeinu should have understood better, because he understood a deeper. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is the source of everything, and that he knows what he's doing. Why are you asking questions? He knows what he's doing. Kel Shakai doesn't really explain that he knows what he's doing. He's in control. Eki Asher Ekia is I am in total control. I created everything. I am who I am. So that's the code language. What he explained to Moshe Rabbeinu was even deeper. He understood all the Kabbalah, all the depth of that name. So he should have backed off and said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what he's doing. And yet now, even though he understood that, he still had complaints against HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the contradictions. But he says, now you're going to see what I'm going to do to Paro. So Chazal Darshan, now you're going to see it. You're going to see Yetzias Mitzrayim with the Asamakas and the Kriyas Yamsuf, But when you get to in Eretz Canaan, with the war with all the Malachim, the 31 kings in Eretz Canaan, you're not going to see that. You're not going to be privileged to go in there. And Yeshua's he's already the Gezerah, that he's not getting into.
He hit the stove, the rock.
That's another question. Well, yes, the Gezerah was already set at this time, that he can't get into Eretz
The
Canaan.
punishment. Meaning the punishment.
That's the punishment is he can't get into Eretz Canaan. He lost the schus of getting into Eretz Canaan because of this. So the question is, B'bain Shalom, the man's suffering. He received a direct command from the Almighty to go down to Egypt to redeem the Jews. He was under a legitimate impression that Kodesh Baruch Hu was going to be with him. Everything would proceed smoothly. Everything would go quickly. Kodesh Baruch Hu was going to take him out. He was convinced no harm would come from his actions. And now, because of his actions, it got worse. Why have you done this to me? And he felt, he loved Klal Yisrael, and he felt for Klal Yisrael. And he couldn't stand to see them suffering. So we understand how he cried out. Why? Why? If the time of the Geula hasn't come yet, why'd you send me? And you sent me and it made things worse. Even a sincere Maimon can be disquieted by such contradictions. You send me, you tell me there's going to be a Geula, and now you made it, I made it worse. There's a conflict. And he's in pain, emotional pain. But this is the difference between the Avis, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and Moshe Rabbeinu. The Avis were not bothered by the contradictions. Let's take Avram Avinu. The Medrash goes through all of them, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Let's take Avram Avinu. Kodesh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu, Ki b'Yitzchak yikor lecha zora. You're going to have a son. It's going to be like the multitude, like the multitude of the stars. And this is Yitzchak. He had all his hopes. He had it at 100 years old. He'd been davening for 100 years for this son. And this is going to be the progenitor of Klal Yisrael. And then Kodesh Baruch Hu tells him, offer him up as an oiler. It's gone. The whole promise is gone. Avram could have asked the question. And he did, afterwards. At the time, whatever Kodesh Baruch Hu says is good. He got up early in the morning. It says about Yashkem Avraham Boiker. He got up early in the morning with Zrizis, and he actually went ahead with everything to do the Akedis Yitzchok, and the knife was right on his neck, and then the Malach called out to him and said, "Stop! Don't touch him." Afterwards, he said, "Kodesh Baruch Hu, okay, now that's over. Now, to steer it." So then the Kodesh Baruch Hu revealed to him it was a test. It was a test. Hashem Nisa. No, you never know it's a test. If you knew it's a test.
Afterwards, you didn't understand that it was a test.
Afterwards, he understood. Yeah. Then,
Wait, so right,
if you know it's a test, it's not a test.
No, meaning afterward though.
Afterwards, he was told. Yeah. Afterwards, Kodesh Baruch Hu explained to him.
No, but
Then he said, "Don't do it anymore, please." And we see that this is the last one.
Oh, he asked him not to do it again?
Yeah. Please.
Really?
It's the Medrash brings out. That's not so simple because by Marisa Machpelah was buying that was also a Nisayan. So there was that's the question where the Akedah was there's a Machloikis in the Meforshim and the Rishonim and everybody. Which one was the 10th? And I'm not getting it. That's not for us right now. But Avram Avinu didn't ask any questions. He was right. Moshe Rabbeinu is bothered by the contradictions, and he immediately asked the questions. Oh, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, my dear Moshe.
he was asking for himself, or it seems like he was bothered that Am Yisrael are suffering and complaining that
He was
we don't
bothered.
see-
He was the catalyst to create the suffering.
So they're blaming him.
I love Klal Yisrael, and you made me cause them suffering. I can't stand that. He couldn't, because he loved Klal Yisrael. Why you bringing it through me?
And they're blaming him.
And they're blaming him, and now they lost their emunah. The whole Yetzias Mitzrayim was based on emunah, but because it got when things get rough, v'lo shomu el Moshe, mikotza ruach, mi'avodah kosher. It was avodas perach. They lost their emunah, and therefore
They don't believe.
there was now there were problems in getting them out because it was only the schus of their. There's a lot of details I can't get into. But what's the answer? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu send him early? Send him. Moshe's got a good taina. Send me when it's ready. I'll go to Paro. Now's the time. And the avodah will stop. Maybe it'll take 6 months for it to slowly decrease like it did. It took 12 months. It took 12 months with the Eser Makkos, and it took a long time. The whole procedure took a year. But at least let the avodah stop like it did. The Makkos Dam, all of a sudden the avodah stopped. But why? This was 6 months early. There was from the time he went to Paro until the Makkos Dam. There was 6 months. 6 months. There was 6 months of avodas perach. So what's pshat? So I said last year at the Bris Bein Besorim, with Avram Avinu, Avram was told by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you should know that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign land, and they will serve them, and they will afflict them. So there's avdus, and there's the affliction, oppression. 400 years. The gezerah on Klal Yisrael was for 400 years.
410.
430. That's the question from where. But in the Bris Bein Besorim, it uses the word 400 years. Elsewhere it says 430, after they got out of Mitzrayim out of 430, with 430, 400. So you look in the Meforshim where the 30 years just go into. But in Bris Bein Besorim it says 400 years. Now, Yetzias Mitzrayim is 210 years later. Everybody knows that. And in the time of Yetzias Mitzrayim, there's a fight going on in Shemayim. Uzzah, the patron, the Sar, the angel of Mitzrayim, he complained. Uzzah. That's his name, Uzzah.
You're not going to use that name for the next year.
He's starting to look for ideas.
Uzzah said, what are you doing? You're taking them out of this is my country. These are my servants. Uzzah, he's the Sar of Mitzrayim. I need those servants, those slaves. And I still have another 190 years to go. Why are you taking them away from me now? He had a complaint against the Ribbono Shel Olam. So, we know from the Meforshim, the Orach Chaim HaKadosh and the other Meforshim, the Zohar, brings down that Kadosh Baruch Hu couldn't wait anymore. Why did he have to hurry up the Gula? Because he saw that the Yidden, Klal Yisrael, was sinking into the 49th level of Tumah. There are 50 levels of Tumah. And they're falling into the 49th level of Tumah. They're holding by the 49th level of Tumah because the assimilation, there was a tremendous amount of assimilation, and the Egyptian culture had made an impression upon them. And if they stayed any longer, they would slip into the 50th level. Once they hit the 50th level, it's unredeemable. There's no hope. The neshamas would be so defiled, incorrectible. So he had to get them at the 49th level of Tumah before they sunk any more. Therefore, he had to hurry it up. How did he hurry it up? So we have in Western culture something called time and a half. If you work overtime, you don't get regular salary, you get time, they call it time and a half. So Kadosh Baruch Hu, he's more generous, you don't get time and a half, you get double. How do you get double? So let's make a cheshbon. Yalkut Shimoni makes a cheshbon. Kriyas Yamsuf was 86 years after Miriam's birth. She was 6 years, Moshe Rabbeinu was 80, and Miriam was 6 years older than Moshe Rabbeinu. They have the whole cheshbon there. So Kriyas Yamsuf happened 86 years after Miriam's birth, and Miriam was born after they had already, we don't know how long they had already had the Avodas Perach, the servitude. The Avdus started before Miriam was born. So let's say it's around 90 years. It's around 90 years that they had the Avdus. It wasn't 210 years in Avdus. At first, at the beginning, Klal Yisrael was very respected by the Egyptians, but once they started intermingling with the Egyptians, with the Mitzrim, and they started the assimilation, so Kadosh Baruch Hu made a hatred of the Ivrim in the eyes of the Egyptians, and then the servitude started. So it was around 90 years. So you take 90 times 2, it's 180. 90 years of overly oppressive work, Kadosh Baruch Hu gives double, so that's equal to 180 years. Amazing. 180 years. So they had time and a half. So he took, in the 210 years, it was equivalent to 400 years in being in Mitzrayim, because of the double, the Avodas Perach. I'm not getting about the 30 years. Look in the Rashi. That's not. No, but according to my cheshbon, let's say Be'erech. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying exactly, but let's say there's 10 years missing. So Kodesh Baruch Hu sent Moshe early, on purpose to make it even harder, and those 6 months were equal to 10 years of work. Now we got the 400 years. Now we have the 400 years. The 190 years, the 210 years, in the 86, the 90 years plus of Avdus became like 190 years that was missing. Now we got 400 years. Okay, now it's time to go out. So Moshe Rabbeinu, he's complaining that, why? I made it worse. You didn't make it worse, you made it better. Because of you, that now it's time for them to go out. But he didn't see it. He didn't see it.
What you're saying is like a concurrent, sentence?
Excuse me?
400 years was like a concurrent sentence?
It was squished into 210 years. 410 years, compressed. It was a compression. It began because they got overtime. The oppression was considered double the gezerah. They had a gezerah that Kadosh Baruch Hu was going to oppress them. They're going to have avdus and oppression and servitude. So that was compressed. So 190 years was missing. That was compressed, and therefore they got out. After 210 years, it was time to get out. It was like it was already 400 years. In this cheshbon of Shemayim, because Kadosh Baruch Hu had to answer to the malach. We don't understand why he has to answer, but he does, because everything is lefi mishpat, everything is lefi tzedek. And if Kadosh Baruch Hu said it's going to be 400 years, it's going to be 400 years. And the malach says, you gave him over to me for avodim. Why are you taking him out early? So Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm not taking him out early. Your people worked them too hard.
And Rabbi's saying Moshe should have recognized that.
Don't ask the question. Even if you don't know, don't ask the question. That's why, chaval adi avdin. Even if you don't understand, you think Avram Avinu understood the Akedah? First you tell me Yitzchak is going to be the progenitor of Klal Yisrael. Now you tell me to shechtim. He didn't understand why. He wasn't meant to. We can't understand why a Kadosh Baruch Hu does things. But if that's what a Kadosh Baruch Hu said, that's what you do. You have full amuna and betachin in the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Whatever he says is right. That was Avram. He didn't ask questions. He didn't ask any questions. Here Moshe Rabbeinu is asking questions. Moshe, you're not as great in a certain way, even though he was the greatest Navi.
Actually, there is a difference
Avraham Avinu was for him himself. It was for all of Israel. He was.
Okay, true, true, true.
עדיין, הוא לא שאל שכן קשה לנו.
הוא לקח עליהם אחריות, סוג של
אבל הוא שאל, צריך לדעת.
On his madrega, on his madrega, it's on his madrega, he should have overcome his emotions and gotten to a higher level of, I believe in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, everything that he does is good, even though it's hurting me.
I mean, even for Abraham, it was also hurting the nation. 'Cause, like,
And it was also hurting the nation. The whole, it was Chil Hashem. It was first of all,
That was the big son.
and it was also a Chil Hashem. Here's the man who he gave sermons. He gave sermons against child sacrifice, and all of a sudden he's doing child sacrifice. Oh, what a hypocrite you are!
well, did people know he loved he
They would have found out. Come on, it would have been in the New York Times the next day. They have sneaks all over the place. He was very famous.
But even the people
No, see, look him. All of a sudden, he goes up to the mountain. He goes up to the mountain. He comes down without Yitzchak. Where's Yitzchak? Somebody's going to go looking for the corpse.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So Baruch Mordechai Izrachi, Zatzal, Zeichat Tzal Bracha,
Rosh Hashiva.
Rashiva of Teres Yisrael. He was a marvelous darshan. So, about 5 years ago, he gave a Gewaldige drasha at the Aguda convention in Yerushalayim at the Ramada. Chazal tell us. I can't do justice to his style, so I can't do justice to his style. But it was.
No one can.
You'll forgive me. Chazal tell us that Moshe Rabbeinu came in front of the Ribbono Shel Olam. And he says, Ba'oz karasi taga lefanecha. There's a medrash. He went to the Ribbono Shel Olam and he asked to do tshuva. And he says, with the word Oz, I complained against you. And with the word Oz, I will correct it. This is a Yalkut Shimoni in B'Shalach by Oz Yoshir. I complained with the word Oz, and I will correct it with the word Oz. Where did I sin? Where did he sin? Be'oz basi al par l'daber b'shmecha. And heira la'am hazen, you made it bad for the people. You don't talk like that to the Ribbono Shel Olam. Do you understand that? You don't talk like that to the Ribbono Shel Olam. So the Ribbono Shel Olam said, what? And it wasn't bad. What do you mean? It didn't become worse. Of course it became worse. Of course it was bad. It was very bad. And Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't bothered by this? Your question? Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't bothered by this? Certainly it bothered him.
What bothered him?
It became worse and he was the cause of it. So Ribbono Shel Olam says, you don't talk to me like that. You're not allowed to daven. You're not allowed to, what's going on over here? It bothered Moshe Rabbeinu and it became worse. And the Ribbono Shel Olam can't correct this? He had to make it worse? Of course the Ribbono, you daven to the Ribbono Shel Olam to change it. So Moshe Rabbeinu came and complained to him, the situation became worse. Now please, Ribbono Shel Olam, change it. No! You don't talk to the Ribbono Shel Olam like that. You don't tell the Ribbono Shel Olam it became worse. Huh? And where did Moshe correct this? Oz Yoshir Moshe, Shir Aliyam. How does Oz Yoshir Moshe fix this up? Our question on the Yalkut Shimoni. Secondly, the word Oz is not part of the Shira. It's just telling you when it happened. Oz, then Klal Yisrael, then Moshe Rabbeinu sang Shira. Oz Yoshir Moshe, then Moshe sang Shira.
Moshe will sing Shira.
Then it starts. Shira Shebi Go. Other Shira Shebi.
And the word Oz here is the same thing. Oz here is not part of the complaint. Oz, it's just from when I came to Paro, things got worse. His complaint was the word worse. So why are you saying, he should have said the complaint was that you used the word worse. No. You said, may Oz. What's Oz got to do with it? What do you mean, from when I came to Paro? Oz is the problem. Oz is the ganze problem. It's Rabbi Baruch Mordechai said this is a Peladika Chazal. It's incomprehensible. But there's a Gavaldical lesson here. There's a Gavaldical lesson. Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Me'oz basi el paro ledabra bishmecha heira la'am hazeh." When I came to Paro to speak in your name, he has done bad to this people, and you have not delivered them at all. Is that right? Now imagine the day before Makas B'chayris. Tomorrow they're getting out, and you're standing there the last day, and you know they're about to get out. And everybody's packing up. And all of a sudden, somebody comes running in. What do you mean? You can't leave. It's not 400 years yet. There was a bris bein besorim. Klal Yisrael is not allowed to leave Mitzrayim for 400 years. It's only 210 years. Who gave you permission to leave? Imagine somebody came to you. What are you going to answer them? Like we said, you're right. In the 210 years lies 400 years. The koishi or shiabud, the difficulty, the hard servitude made up for the missing years. The Mitzrim added a perach, a hard, overly oppressive labor. They stuck in enough tsaris in 210 years to make it equal to 400 years. Now the 400 years is over. Get out. Now you're standing on the last day and you hear this answer. Wouldn't you dance? Wouldn't you sing? You'd sing for all the tsaris you had. You'd sing for all the tsaris you had. So what does it mean that Me'oz basi el para heirav, he made it worse? It became worse? Not only didn't it become worse, it became better. A lot better. We got out earlier. We got out faster. But the mensch doesn't see this. We don't see it that way. A person does. The person doesn't see this. The individual doesn't see this. So many things pass over a person. He has so many troubles and problems. Everybody has troubles. Everybody has problems. People feel lost. What's going to be? There's an Eibishter. The Eibishter is supervising everything. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is good. And he's supervising things good. Why is the word that we use in English for HaKadosh Baruch Hu the word God? Because it comes from the word good. It comes from the word good. He is only good. Yud Kei Vav Kei is the Midas HaRachamim. He has only Rachamim and Chesed for Klal Yisrael. And in the end, when Ribono Shel Olam brings him to the ultimate good, you're going to start singing and dancing. The Eibishter is running things very good. And the lesson we have to learn is that this chus of realizing now that it's good, it will be good faster, and it'll be good sooner. Moshe Rabbeinu says, since I came to Paro, it got worse. It became worse? It was better. Because of those few months of triple the work, they got out even earlier. They didn't sink into the 49th level of Toma. But in the meanwhile, you don't see it. That's the problem. We don't see it. Now, Chas Shalom. Everybody's asking me Kasha about Moshe Rabbeinu. Really, we shouldn't ask a question. Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest of all the Nevi'im. But because he was so great, Kadosh Baruch Hu had a taina on him. Maybe for us, we can't put ourselves into his feet. Maybe for us, Kadosh Baruch Hu would have no complaints if under the stress we ask questions. But Moshe Rabbeinu, he's asking questions on his madrega. That's why there's a criticism laid against him. Moshe Rabbeinu, how can you say it's bad? Where's your betachin? Where's your emunah? The hashgacha of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Because Baruch Hu is running the show. Everything that happens is hashgacha pratis of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's what he means. Me'oz. From when I came to Paro, I complained against you. With the word oz. From when I came to Paro. I said it was because I came to Paro. And I saw a contradiction. I complained because I came to Paro in your name. And therefore I complained. And that was a sin. That was a chet. So where did he... But oz, where do you see with the word oz? He fixed it up. How did he fix it up? Oz Yoshir. Oz Yoshir was a song. And it wasn't just a song about Yam Suf. It wasn't just a song about the miraculous salvation from the army of Mitzrayim. The Gemara says, "Menayin l'tchiyas hamesim min haTorah." How do you know tchiyas hamesim min haTorah? It says, "Oz Yashir Moshe v'nei Yisrael es Asher Zois Lashem." Then Moshe and Klal Yisrael will sing. It doesn't say shar they sang. The question you asked. It doesn't say they sang. It wasn't they sang now. Oz Yosha, they're going to sing. When are they going to sing? Mikan l'tchiyas hamesim min haTorah. There's going to be a tchiyas hamesim. And the Gemara says at the time in Olam Haba, after tchiyas hamesim, Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to reveal to us the chesed in all of the tzoris that we had. The Gemara in Pesachim says, in Olam Hazeh, on good tidings you make a bracha toiva meitiv, and on bad tidings you say baruch dayan emes. La'asad lavai, the Gemara in Pesachim says you're only going to make hatoiva meitiv, because everything is good. Here we don't see the good, so we make a baruch dayan emes. But la'asad lavai, everything was good. So the song Oz Yoshir, when they get to Tchiyas HaMesim, they're going to sing, because they're going to see all the good that happened. They're going to sing for at the Shira. And this is what they did at the Shira. They had this prophecy. They sang the Shira then for all the good that the Eibush had done for them until now. And they put into that Shira all the way up to Olam Haba. That was the problem with the first one. And that's how we fix up the first Oz. By looking back and seeing everything was good. What was the first complaint? Oz. What did the Oz mean? Now. Right now I see bad. I see only tzoris. I see things are getting bad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it looks like it's getting bad for the Klal Yisrael. Don't you realize the Eibishter runs the world? Now looks bad. But it's bringing you to something better. Now there is a difference, it's another shmooze. The difference between called the Ovid Rachmana Latava, but everything the Rachmana, the merciful one, does is for the good. And there's another statement of Chazal, Gamzu L'Toiva, Nachum Ish Gamzu against his Talmud Rabbi Akiva. They had two different statements. What's the difference? We're not getting involved in the difference between those two statements. There is a difference. But that's pshat. See the good now. In the schus that you understand it's good now, if you come to that madrega of Emunah, if you have betochen in the Kodesh Baruch Hu that it's good now, it'll become better.
You can see it, you can believe it, you can't see it.
That's Emunah, right?
Believing.
Yes.
See it's bad. You can't see.
You believe, right? You can't, it looks bad.
They're working harder.
Yeah, but you have to believe that it's going to become, person has a window. Everybody looks at life through a window. You know how big that window is? The size of the word Oz. It's got a little tiny window the size of the word Oz. Now you look at it. You look at things now, and it's a little tiny window, and you say, that's it. That's it. I understand it. Oh, you don't. You don't understand anything. You only understand what you see. Where's your Emunah? Where's your B'tachin? Oz Yoshir. We're going to be Masakin. La'asad Lavoy. You're going to see all the bad you had. It's good. And you're going to have it forever and ever. That's the lesson. The Eibishter runs the world. Yes, you have to daven. We have to daven. Kodesh Baruch Hu for the tzoros that we're in. But you have to have betochen, you have to have emunah. You have to understand that the Ribbono Shel Olam runs the world. There's no limit to his goodness. It's already good. So Reb Baruch Mordechai ended off, said, I had a good friend, Yitzhak Greenberg, when he was a bacher in Chevron. There was an alter bacher there. One of the best, the first Talmidim of the yeshiva. And he says, years later, he bumped into him. Vos macht Reb Yitzchak? How you doing, Reb Yitzchak? So he answered, today is better than yesterday. Baruch Hashem. But it's not as good as tomorrow is going to be. That was his attitude. Od Yoter Tov. Yeah, they have a song now. Od Yoter Tov. Od Yoter Tov. It's gewaldige good, but it's going to be even better.
No, that was the problem with that song. The problem with that song is that the time of that song was.
I don't know the
argument
song.
about that song. The time was, how can you say it can be better? Now is the best.
Oh, that's
What
what
do you mean it's
he's
going to
saying.
be better?
That's
Now
what
is the
Epstein's-
ultimate best.
No, Rav Epstein's saying that's the correct
What do you
hashkafa.
mean? Basically, if you're saying tomorrow's going to be better, which means you're saying today
Because-
is not so good.
No,
Today is the best.
no, it's leading to an even better.
Can't be better. Today is the best.
So far.
So far, no, but it can lead to a better, something even better.
Well, it's better.
And
Better
then
is relatively to something else. Better than now,
Yeah.
which means now is
The
less
shibud.
than-
Now they have a shibud, and the shibud is good because it's leading to the Yetzias Mitzrayim, the final gula. There's going to be a gula. There's an ultimate good. Yes, it's going to get better when we finally see a Kodesh Baruch Hu b'kvodo b'atzmai. I'm not getting involved in the words of the songs, and I don't even know the song. I heard it. Anyway. Mishpetei Hashem emes sadko yachtov.
So which means it's not that now is bad and tomorrow will be better. Now is good, and the results of the badness now basically is causing
It's
the
not that
good.
today's bad.
Basically, is causing the good tomorrow, and it's not real bad. It's not like we're looking at it now. We have something bad, which I don't understand, and I believe that it's for the good.
We don't understand it.
Result.
We don't understand it,
Lead
right?
us to something better.
Yeah.
No, this this bad is not real bad.
It's all about time.
That's that's there's
Okay, that's
there's Rav Dessler, and it's also in the Hasidic Svarim, the difference between Kol Di'ovid Rachman L'Tav Ovid and Gamzu L'Toiva. So Kol Di'ovid Rachman L'Tav Ovid, Rabbi Akiva, he wasn't as great as his Rebbe Nachum Ish Gamzu. I can't get into the details, but that's the difference. That by Rabbi Akiva, he said, Kol Di'ovid Rachmana L'Tav Ovid. It's going to be good. But by the case where he was, I said this many times. He was in the he went to the city. They wouldn't take him into. He couldn't get lodgings in the city. They were very nasty to him. So he had to camp out in the forest. And his candle burnt right, and then the wildcat took his rooster, and killed his donkey, right? So it says Kol Di'ovid Rachman L'Tav Ovid, and it came out good because the marauders, the bandits, the mechablim, the terrorists, they went into the city and they took them all hostage, slave traders. They took the whole city hostage. So he said, Baruch Hashem, they didn't hear the donkey, they didn't hear the rooster, and they didn't see my candle. So it worked out for the better. It was leading to a good. Nachum Ish Gamzu, Gamzu L'Toiva. This is good. He was able to see the good right now. He was on a higher madrega than Rabbi Akiva. Nachum Ish Gamzu. Now, how was it good now? We don't understand.
The actual dust turned into arrows. The dust itself.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
The actual dust turned into arrows.
But like a candle going out, why is that a good?
Because they didn't see him. They didn't see him. The marauders would.
No, I'm saying, but for
Oh, now the Meforshim who discussed this don't discuss Rabbi Akiva how it was good now. That it said Rabbi Akiva only saw that it's going to lead to good. That was Rabbi Akiva's. He said it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Nachum Ish Gamzu said it's good now. But he didn't just mouth it. We mouth it. You don't really believe it. It's going to be good. Come on. Be honest. You don't really believe it. We try. We have to try. We have to try to ingrain within ourselves a beginning of a hakara. It's going to work out good. If we can come to a madrega that somehow or other, right now it's good. You look at also all these scenarios. And we can't. As long as we're in Olam Hazeh, we really can't understand. That's what the Chafetz Chaim says. Mishpatei Hashem emes od ko yachtov.
We don't have to try to figure out.
No, but
why is this really good?
No.
Start thinking.
No.
Right, like why?
And get some ideas. Maybe it is good, and some. That's not the way of thinking of things. I have to look at the good and everything that bad happens to try to see why it is good. No, I just have to believe it's good. I can't.
So we have Mishalom, the Chafetz Chaim. This is the famous mashal. I mentioned to you the famous the mashal of the Chafetz Chaim, the country bumpkin. The farmer. He comes to the shul. He never been in a big shul in his life. On Shabbos, a couple hundred people there, maybe 1,000 people, bells. I don't know. And they get to Kriyas HaTorah, and the Gabbai says, Ya'amod Shmuel, right? So he goes, the 7 Aliyahs from Arba Kanfos Ha'oretz, Mamash, all over the shul, different places, right? So after davening, the guy goes over to the Gabbai, says, Mr. Gabbai, I appreciate it, I really enjoyed davening here, but I have a question. Why'd you have to do helter-skelter with the aliyahs, one over here, one over there, one over here, right? Wouldn't it be more organized, the first bench the first week, and the second bench the next week, and then the third? And that everybody has his turn, and we'll get an aliyah, and it's very, very organized. Why'd you have to go like that for? So the Gabbai laughs. He says, You're here for one Shabbos, you want to understand everything? You want to understand everything? If you would have been here 3 weeks ago, the guy on the first bench was sick. He wouldn't have gotten his aliyah. He missed it. And 2 weeks ago, the guy in the back bench, he had an ofra for his son. So he had to get an aliyah. And the other one had a yard site. So he had to get an aliyah for the yard site. And he had to get an aliyah for bar mitzvah. So if I would do it your way, nobody would get the aliyah when they want and when they need it. So we come, the Chafetz Chaim says, you come to this world for 80, 90, 100 years, 120 years. You come to this world for 120 years. And that's all you see. You don't see anymore. If you would understand everything that's happening from the beginning of time until Yemoshe Mashiach and Tchias HaMesim and Olam Haba, and how it all fits together, then maybe you would understand. You have to see everything that there's. If you remember, I don't know if you know what the Cantonistum were? The Cantonists. So about 150 years ago, 200 years ago, there was terrible gezerah. There was a terrible gezerah in Russia. The Tsar Nikolai, I think, Tsar Nikolai. So he made a gezerah that they had to recruit young boys into the Russian army for 25 years. And he put a quota on the Jewish community. So there were what they call chaperim. They had people going around snatching Jewish children, 8 or 9 years old, just snatching them. They would take them into the Russian army. The Russian army would put them by a farmer for a couple of years, for 10 years, to educate them in the ways of the Russians. Right? And then when they hit the age of 18 or whatever, they were able-bodied men already, 16, I don't know how old they were. They put them into the Russian army for 25 years. So it was 25 years, 30 years. They were ripped away from Yiddishkeit. And it was terrible. People were afraid. All of a sudden, the kids got snatched up from Chaperim. It was a terrible gezerah, and everybody was crying out, stop it. So it came to an end when Chafetz Chaim was a younger man. So it came to an end. So later on, they asked the Chafetz Chaim, what's pshat in the Cantonistim? It was so terrible, such a terrible thing. What's pshat in the Cantonistim? So Chafetz Chaim said this word: if you'd only understand, we know the neshama never dies. Everybody thinks after 120, right? You close your eyes and you go to sleep, and all you see is black. And then they put you in the nice, comfortable, cushioned coffin, and they put you right, and they put you in your hotel room downstairs, 6 feet under, and that's over. You go to sleep for 100 million years, right? That's what everybody thinks. The neshama doesn't die. When you pass away, when we pass away, it's like shedding a coat. This body is just like shedding a coat. When you take your coat off, you're still there. You're still the same person. When we die, we're still the same person. And all of a sudden, we wake up in a new existence. Totally aware of everything. Without the burdens of this body. But if we've ruined things, if we've ruined things, so the Mekubalim, the Gra in the Svarim and also in the Zohar. So people have to come back 2, 3, 4, 2 or 3 times. I don't know how many times a person has to come back. People have to come back again to make a tikkun on what they messed up the first time. In Bayis Rishon, in the first temple, there was a magefa, like today, there's a magefa, there's a, how do you say magefa in English? There's a plague of atheism today. All the Jews, the biggest atheists are the Jews, they're shedding off the religion that's been going on for 150 years, from the Haskalah, I discussed last time, from the time of the Haskalah, with all the non-religious isms, right? We've lost a lot of people in their Amunah. The same thing happened worse in Bayis Rishon. They became Ovdei Avodah Zorah. The same amount. It was Rov of Klal Yisrael Ovdei Avodah Zorah. That's why we had a Chorban Beis HaMikdash. So all those neshamas went up to Shemayim, went up to Shemayim. But the Kodesh Baruch Hu is a Mali Rachamim. Kodesh Baruch Hu wants a Rachamim. They shouldn't lose their Olam Haba. They lost their Olam Haba. So he gave them another chance. And he put them back into Olam Hazeh, and he made them Kantonistim, and that's why they were taken away as forced labor, and they tried to baptize them. They tried to get them to do Averis, and they wanted to become a Christian. Those who resisted, at least, even though they're eating treif, but they resisted. They're Mechal Shabbos. They had no choice, but they resisted accepting Christianity. I'm still a Jew. That was the tikkun for these neshamas. A shtickle, ich bin a Yid. A shtickle amuna. A shtickle amuna. And that was a tikkun for Avodah Zorah and Bayis Rishon. And this is what we have to learn. We can't see it now. The Sanzer Rebbe says when we say Kriya Shema, we cover our eyes. Why do we cover our eyes by Kriya Shema? Shema Yisrael, Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Midas Harachamim, Midas, right? Elokeinu, He's Midas Adin. But Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, is Midas Harachamim. It's all one. It's all Echad. I believe that everything is, there's no Midas Adin. All Midas Adin is Midas Harachamim. It's everything is a Kodesh Baruch Hu, but I can't see it. So we close our eyes, cover our face, we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Bez Hashem. These parshas should help us strengthen our Amunah and B'tachin. Everything that Kodesh Baruch Hu does is for the good.
Man, just go ahead. So I can just hit it.